land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis.
This is a transition on Atlantic Television Network. Inspector General of Police Kayode Aduolu Egbetokun condemns in the strongest terms the recent outbreak of violence and subsequent breakdown of law and order at various local government council secretariats in Rivers State. Where supporters of two political factions clash over the tenure of the local government council chairman, which unfortunately led to the tragic death of police officer Inspector General David Mbada and Samuel Awigwe, a vigilante member at Ebere Omoma in Omoma local government area. In response to this initial act, the IGP has directed the Commissioner of Police in Rivers State CP Olatunji Delsus to highlight security measures across the state and institute thorough investigation into the killings of the police officers and vigilante operatives, as well as the general violence. The Rivers State Command in apprehending the killers of the state officers and the vigilante members. The IGP seriously warned individuals and groups of people who have been penchant for senseless attack and mindless killings of police officers and other security operatives across the country to desist forthwith, as the fullest force of the law will be meted on them. The CP has also been directed to focus on the increased patrol strategic deployment of officers and enhance intelligence operations to prevent further violence and ensure the safety of all residents. The Inspector General of Police called on all residents and political stakeholders in the state to exercise restraint and seek peaceful means of resolving differences. The All Progressives Congress in Rivers State has inaugurated itself from the ongoing political war in Rivers State, absolving members of the party in the state of not being part of the ongoing war. The caretaker chairman of the APC chairman, Tony Okocha, in the media chat blamed the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, for the unrest in the state. He further raised alarm over unwarranted movement around his environment by some talks.
Local government chairmen attempting in whatever reasons they have to stay beyond their official tenure after the governor of Rivers State, being the chief security officer, being the head and leader of the state, had made a broadcast directing the heads of local government to take over the administration of the local government. But yet, the former local government chairman and the effrontery, in their desperation to elongate their tenure and stay perpetually in office, necessitated what happened here.
To safeguard lives and properties in Rivers State, Chief Tony Okocha called on the federal government to the matter as a matter of urgency, declare state of emergency in the state.
It was a tragedy. It was debasement of the constitution, dismembering of the principles and ethos of rule of law, and an attempt to foist.
Okocha further took a swipe at the comment made by the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, when he said that 84% of Nigerians are not in support of the administration of President Bola Tinubu. Okocha lambasted the former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi.
I want to use your opportunity to absolve APC members in Rivers State. We are not part of the ongoing war in Rivers State. We are not. I will also absolve the innocent residents of Rivers State who have come here to do business, to fend for themselves, and put food on their tables. I want to say that we are also absorbed the innocent citizens of River State. They are not part of the war. The war is Governor Siminalayi versus Governor Siminalayi. That is a war in River State as we speak. Enemies in his house, not external enemies in his house. Governor Fubara is not fit. When this trouble that he has caused will come full blown, he will run away against that. I can be sure of that. And so the best bet for River State as we speak today is a state of emergency. Let the army be deployed to take over strategic places. Let this escort.
This is a transition on Atlantic Television Network. We go on a very short break. Welcome back. Okocha Lamba said the former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, of lacking capacity to speak ill of Mr. President, maintaining that the entire Rivers State is happy and will continue to support Mr. President.
In a meeting, it said that 84% of Nigerians do not like the government of the president of the Federal Republic today, as we all know. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and that 84% of Nigerians are not in sync, that they do not like the government. And we were here to ask him, what is the statistical data? How did he generate that data? Is it by random sampling or by any form whatsoever, or by his own extrapolations? One will wonder why someone who almost franchised the sovereignty of Nigeria, who led the borrowing, massive borrowing of money from China.
People's Democratic Party has advised the immediate past Rivers State local government chairman whose tenure has expired to stop the ongoing tussles that is capable of disrupting the peace in the state. National Publicity Secretary of the party, Honorable Debo Olugundaba, who issues the word of the caution in the statement in Abuja, said 3 years tenure in office of the former local government executive councils in the state has expired, and called on the people of the River State to remain calm, law-abiding, and continue to work together for the continued stability, peace, and delivery of democracy dividends in River State. Analysts accuse the outgoing local government chairman as the major obstacles causing in the various local government councils in the state. Speaking on Atlantic Open Conversation, a social political analyst for Givings Amateur expressed his view.
Local government chairmen attempting in whatever reasons they have to stay beyond their official tenure after the governor of Rivers State, being the chief security officer, being the head and leader of the state, had made a broadcast directing the heads of local government to take over the administration of the local government. But yet, the former local government chairman and the effrontery, in their desperation to elongate their tenure and stay perpetually in office, contributed, necessitated what happened here.
Condemning the development, Asim Adams described the development as a mutilating of the principle of rules of law and attempts to force crisis in the states.
Was a tragedy, was debasement of the constitution, dismembering of the principles and ethos of rule of law, and an attempt to voice, gangsterism.
This is coming after the governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, ordered head of local government administration to take over the leadership of the 23 LGs in the state. Fresh oil spills has reportedly rocked the Nembe Creek in Nembe local government area of Bayelsa State. ATN recalls that the spills, which occurred around 6 p.m. on Tuesday at a facility operated by Atio Exploitation and Production, is coming 3 years after the oil and gas blowout at a well owned by the company in the area. ATN learned that the latest incident occurred at a loading point in the Nembe Creek, which the force of the tide caused a station vessels to hit a loading vessels identified as FMT-23. The spill, it was further learned, that has spread as far as Okwama on the Atlantic Fringe in Brass local government area. Eyewitness as Nembe Creek and Mami Watakuri, two communities bordering the loading point, attribute the spill to the incident between the two vessels. According to them, the hose disconnected from the loading vessels and started pumping crude oil into the water at great forces, and it took some time before oil workers could shut down the point. After also speaking, the resident of the area, who simply identified himself as Abion, said concentration of crude oil on the water could be seen from a point before Nembe Creek, tinkering up to the loading point at extended pass Bombokiri community, close to the boundary with Browse local government area. Indigenous oil firm Alito Eastern Exploitation and Production Company says it has temporarily shut down production at its Nembe field in response to an oil spill. Alito, in a statement dated June 18, 2024, but made available to newsmen on Tuesday in Yenogwa by spokesperson Indiana Matthew, confirmed them on Monday the oil leaked from its facility. Matthew said that the cause of the spill is currently undermined. However, they are proactively engaging with stakeholders to mitigate the immediate effects. Commenting on the incidents, a group managing director, Victor Okoronkwo, said during their operations on Monday, June 17, 2024, the subject leak was detected and that the joint investigative visits with stakeholders has been initiated to determine the cause of the incidents. Okoronkwo also said they regret the production losses to the joint venture and the nation and the potential environmental impact, noting that their current priority is to expedite on the efficient spill management process in line with the regulatory standards and collaborate with all stakeholders to restore production and mitigate associated risks. Bayelsa State Governor Doye Diri on Wednesday forwarded the names of 13 nominees for appointment as commissioners to the Bayelsa State House of Assembly for screening and confirmation. The forwarded names were contained in a letter read by the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Abraham Igobere, during plenary on Wednesday. ATN had earlier reported that Governor Diri in April sent the first batch of 14 nominees. With these additional 13 makes it a total of 27 commissioners who filled his cabinet. The Speaker presided over by the Speaker fixed Thursday 20th June 2024 for the screening and confirmation of the 13th additional commissioners nominees. Leaders of the People's Democratic Party in Orodo local government area of Edo State says the party has not suspended Omeregi Obedie Hamad, a former House of Representatives member. The party in Benin City said the purported suspension was false and misleading. The PDP chairman in the local government, Oduwa Ibinosun, told newsmen in Benin that the local government executive's attention has been drawn to the purported expulsion of Obenide Hiama by the group Iansin. Also said the National Working Committee of the party had extended the tenure of all elected executives and ratified them to act as caretaker committee members. Also, the executives of PDP Ward 2 Oredo local government said that they are not aware of the purported suspension and exploitation of the two-term House of Representatives members. The Secretary of the Ward, Mr. Jesubo Obiadigi, stated this on behalf of the executives. 48 suspected criminals have been nabbed by men of Ondo State Security Network Agency, the Omotekun Corp, for committing various crimes in different parts of the state in the last week. The suspects, two of whom are females, were apprehended for crimes ranging from armed robbery, kidnapping, attempting murder, burglary, and housebreaking, fraud, and fake POS bank alert, cultism, stealing, flaunting, and anti-open gazing law, and assault. Various exhibits recovered from the suspects and displaying include 2 cars, 1 live goat, a generating set, some clothing materials, electric transformer cables, and some fake dollar notes. Parading the suspect before newsmen at the Ondo headquarters of Omotekun Corps in Akure, the commander of the corps in the state, Adetunji Adeyele, disclosed that all the suspects, some of whom were caught in the act, confessed to the crime. According to Adeleye, over 600 suspects apprehended in the state by men of the corps in the last 6 months are currently being prosecuted. They would be sent to the correctional facilities if found guilty. The Obertokun's boss also revealed that the rate of kidnapping in the Ose local government areas of the state has reduced drastically as a result of the heavy presence of Omotekun Corps in the area, patrolling the area constantly. Lagos State government says it will apply infection prevention and control measures in schools to prevent and control spread of communicable diseases. Jamiu Ali Balogun, Lagos State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, gave the assurance in Lagos. The assurance follows cholera breakout in some local government areas of the state. He said the goal of IPC in schools is to minimize the risk of infectious diseases outbreak in schools communities and ensure a safe and healthy learning environment for students, teachers, and other members of staff. He also said that the measures including vaccination, the commissioner called on management of schools to ensure that food handlers would observe strict hygiene practices to prevent contamination and spread of diseases. He said that the oral hydration salt must be made availability in school clinics or bear to manage hydration cases promptly, while hand washing facilities must be provided. ATN reports that cholera is a bacterial disease that commonly presents with episodes of diarrhea with or without vomiting or fever. Patients may become very hydrated within hours if not treated. Children are often at highest risks. Suspected gunmen have launched an attack on the Gura community in Castina Ala local government area of Borno State and killed 6 people. Source in the local government told our correspondent on Wednesday that the gunmen rode on motorcycles to attack the community between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Confirming the incident on Wednesday, the lawmakers representing the constituency in the State House of Assembly, Jonathan Abideye, said that 6 people were killed in the attack. Also confirming the incident, the local government chairman Shako Justin said that the militaries attacked the community between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. on Tuesday. The chairman said that the lawmakers representing Castina Allah at the State Assembly, Abideye, visited the community for on-spot assessment, adding that the menace is returning to the village. When contacted, the spokesperson for the State Police Command, Catherine Anene, said she was yet to receive the report. Kano State Chairman of All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Abbas, has called for the arrest of the former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kwankwaso, saying he is a threat to the security of the state. Abbas was responding to the allegation made by Kwankwaso, who accused the past administration of bleeding Boko Haram terrorists and misleading the federal government to destabilize the state. Kwankwaso made this statement during the speech at the 85-kilometer road construction flag-off in his hometown of Madobi community. Abbas called on security agency to arrest the senator so he could list the names of those who refer to as the enemies working against the state. He also noted that no amount of threat by Kwankwaso would intimidate the federal government. The chairman noted that the new Nigerian People's Party has made sinister movement to foster trouble in Kano. Abbas also alleged that since the forceful enthronement of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi as emir, hundreds of weapons brandishing thugs have been recruited and sanctioned at the emir's palace, where all sorts of illicit substances are openly being sold, pose a threat to the residents within and around. You are watching The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. Return after this break.
They vote for government, but we not get good governance
at all.
Roads so no day, light outside, the infrastructure we can't turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Dear, we call you back.
That behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadeyi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation.
Welcome back. This is a transition on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories. Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Defense, Honorable Baba Jimmy Benson, says the success is recorded in various operations across the country by the Nigerian military underscore the bravery, professionalism, and unwavering commitment of the military personnel to safeguarding the nation. The chairman expressed heartfelt condemnation to the armed forces of Nigeria for their remarkable achievement and steadfast dedication in the recent times. According to the statement signed in Abuja, Benson highlighted the numerous victories against insurgents, bandits, and other criminal elements that have threatened the peace and security of Nigeria. He emphasized that these achievements are a testament to the reliance and the sacrifice of the men and women in uniform who tirelessly work to ensure the safety and security of all Nigerians. The chairman further highlighted that troops under the multinational joint task force has continually delivered significant blows to terrorist group in the Lake Chad region, though a series of daring operations. In one such operation conducted on 15 June 2024, several terrorists were neutralized and 34 women and children were rescued from insurgents. Benson stated that the recent successes of our armed forces in various operations, dedication and bravery of our soldiers, armaments and rating, we owe them a debt of gratitude for their relentless effort to protect our nation. He therefore called on all Nigerians to continue supporting and appreciating the armed forces, acknowledging their sacrifice and contribution to national security by operating with security agencies to ensure a safer and more secure Nigeria. Joint Union Congress of the Police Service Commission has called on President Bola Tinubu to relieve the Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun over his alleged undue influence in the recent recruitment of police constables. During a press briefing in Abuja, the union also alleged that some top officials within the Nigerian police forces tried to smuggle names during the recruitment process. The grievance members of the union, while singing protest songs, described the reactions of the NPF as diversionary tactics. According to them, NPF intend to prevent the president from noting the unpreparedness of the police training schools to handle the training of the recruits owing to the sorry state of facilities. ACN report that the move comes after the PSC recently released 10,000 names of successful candidates employed from the recent recruitment exercise by the Commission. The list was later rejected by the NPF, who described the recruitment process as fraudulent. National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency has announced their week-long activities to commemorate the 2024 World Drugs Day with theme International Day Against Drugs Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. The chairman and the chief executive officer of the NDLA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Mawa, made the announcement on 19th June 2024 while briefing the newsmen in Abuja, which he said NDLA will go around churches, mosques, marketplaces, and other public places within a week-long activities, creating awareness on abuse and trafficking of illicit drugs. He further stated that recent significant developments jumping to NDLA effort to fight against the abuse and trafficking of illicit drugs.
On Friday, June 21st, we will observe a Jumat service at the National Mosque in Abuja to commemorate the World Drug Day. On Saturday, June 22nd, our usual walk against drugs in collaboration with MTN and other stakeholders will be staged from the old parade ground as a takeoff point by 7 a.m. to Gariki Market. On Sunday, June 23, we'll have a Thanksgiving church service at the National Christian Center, that is the Ecumenical Center, by 10 a.m. On Monday, June 24th, we'll be having a grand finale of our secondary school essay competition. The NDLA essay competition is a nationwide contest conducted among secondary schools with the entries whistled down to the final seats. The That same day, Monday 24th, is marked as NGO Day, when our partners will have their activities. The following day, Tuesday 25th, we'll be in markets and parks in the Federal Capital Territory Area Councils for a program for out-of-school youth. Finally, on Wednesday, June 26th, the World Drug Day commemoration event will be held at the State House Conference Center, beginning at 9 a.m., where all stakeholders will gather to formally unveil the new global policy direction for tackling illicit drug problems. Kindly oblige me now to share some quick background on recent significant developments that are germane to our efforts to curtail the abuse and trafficking of illicit drugs. Firstly, our flagship WADA program, which is War Against Drug Abuse, a whole society approach to preventive action against drug abuse, with a 3 years goal on June 26, 2024, having been launched on the World Drug Day 2021. I am proud to tell you that the program has been a tremendous success as an effective tool of advocacy for social action and as an awareness-driven vehicle for public engagement and collaboration against illicit trafficking and drug abuse.
While United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime said UNODC has worked with the government of Nigeria to adopt and implement evidence-based prevention measures, which include the highly successful new plugged school-based drugs prevention programs implemented together with the Federal Ministry of Education in 101 unity schools and in a few states in the country, notably KB, Bayelsa, and a recent Kaduna, on the initiative of the state government in these states.
UNODC has worked with the government of Nigeria to adopt and implement evidence-based prevention measures, which include the highly successful and planned a school-based drug prevention program implemented together with the Federal Ministry of Education in 110 unity schools and in a few states in the country, notably Kebbi, Bayelsa, and recently Kaduna, on the initiative of the state governments in these states. And thanks to the partnership of the MTN Foundation, the Unplugged program has been extended to a few public schools in 9 other states in the country. This program has proven to be extremely effective in curbing drug and substance use among participant students. Results indicate that students who went through at least 9 sessions of the Unplugged program showed a reduction in alcohol use by 48%. Besides the preventive efforts of the program on the use of drug by youth, it had the additional effects of creating to a more positive classroom climate and learning environments for students. Many schools recorded improvement in academic performance across all subjects for the students that were opportune to experience this program. Evidence of life skills part of the program, as well as students who were not part of this program, noting the change in those that went through the Unplugged program. However, despite the success of the Unplugged program being implemented in 425 secondary schools, reaching a total of over 500,000 students since its inception in 2015.
Abuja Federal High Court has denied granting bail to the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kari. In a ruling justice, Emeka Nute held that Kari's bail is at the discretion of the court in line with the section 161 subsection 2 of the Administration of the Criminal Justice Act. The judge ruled that Kari had not shown any evidence to warrant the court granting him bail. ATN recalls that on May 22, the judge has granted the former boss of the Intelligence Response Team, IROT, temporary 2 weeks a bail of to bury his mother. However, the 2 weeks were extended by the week upon an appreciation filed by the Mr. Kiari for an extension of the bail. On June 1st, Kiari perfected the bail condition and was released the same day. At today's proceeding, Justice Emeka Witi refused to extend his earlier order but granted a accelerated hearing in the case. ATN also recalled that Kyari was detained following his arrest on February 14, 2022 by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency for alleged involvement with an international drugs cartel. He, along with 4 members of the police intelligence response team, Sunday Ubia, Bawa James, Simon Agiriba, and John Nuhu, was arraigned on March 7, 2022. 2 suspected drugs traffickers, Chibuna Imuibe and Emeka Nzewane, who were arrested at Atako Ibiamam International Airport in Enugu, were also charged, while Kyari and the IRT members pleaded not guilty. Umeibe and Nzewane pleaded guilty and were convicted. Federal High Court Abuja has dismissed a fundamental right enforcement suit filed by fleeing Binance Holding Ltd's executive Nadan Anjarawele against the National Security Advisor and EFCC. Justice Inyang Ekwo, in a ruling, dismissed the suits for lack of diligence prosecution, with the case was when the When the case was called off, no lawyer appeared for Aniwala, and neither was the applicant in the court. In a short ruling, Justice Ekwo noted that on March 28, when the matter came up, Tonye Okuribo San, who appeared for Anjawala, sought leave to withdraw his appearance in the matter, and the application was granted. He said the matter was adjourned until today for mention, but no lawyer appeared for the applicant. ATN reports that Anjawala, Binance African Regional Manager, had filed a separate right enforcement suit alongside his colleague, Tigran Bambarian, against the NSA and EFCC, seeking an order releasing them from detention. In their separate application, Anjawala and Gambayan, the U.S. citizen overseeing financial crimes compliance at the crypto exchange platform, sought a declaration that their detention and the seizure of their international traveling passports contravene Section 35, subsection 1 and subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The judge fixed the date after Gambian's lawyers, Kurubo, moved a motion seeking for amends their originally proceeding, although EFCC lawyers Olewa Wanju Adeola opposed the motion, and judge had held that parties by law were entitled before judgment. Leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has expressed willingness to seek negotiation with the federal government. Kanu anchors his move for the negotiation with the federal government under Section 17 of the Federal High Court Act. The IPOB leader has been detained by the Department of State Service since 2021, when he was re-arrested in Kenya and repatriated in Nigeria. Since his return, the IPOB leader has been facing trials for terrorism-related charges before an Abuja Federal High Court. ATN learns that Section 17 of the Federal High Court Act stated that in any proceedings in the court may promote reconciliation among parties thereto and encourage and facilitate the amicable settlements thereof. Speaking through his lead counsel, Aloy Ejimoko, Kanu's informed the Abuja Federal High Court of his negotiation after he moved 2 applications brought before the court. Ejimoko said if the applications are denied, they will move for implementation of Section 17 of the Federal High Court Act. Responding, the federal government counsel Adeboyega Omomolo informed the court that he had earlier informed the defendants that they does not have the powers to negotiate on behalf of the federal government, as the funds given to him does not empower him to negotiate. He added that the defendant should approach the Attorney General of the Federation. In the reply, Justice Benta Oyako said the court was not a solicitor but to only hear cases. Federal government of Nigeria and the Space Exploitation and research agency from Belawale, USA, has signed a memorandum of understanding to collaborate on human space flight missions. In a landmark event at the nation's capital, Abuja, the MOU was signed between the National Space Research and Development Agency and SERA, highlighting the collaborative effort to advance human space flight capabilities. This partnership, which among other things aims to foster the development of critical technologies and infrastructure required for human mission beyond Earth, will also see a Nigerian land in space. The signing ceremony was supervised by the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Chief Uche Naji, underscoring the importance of his partnership for Nigerians' ground-going space program. Dr. Matthew Adepuju, Director General of NASRODA, expressed his optimism for the partnership, saying it is a historic movement for NASDA and Nigeria. He added that SERA's expertise and the agency dedication will yield remarkable milestone in human space exploitation within the continent and beyond. Etienne learned that NASRAD was established on May 5, 1999, after the preparation period since 1998 by former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the Nigerian government, and the primary objectives of establishing a fundamental policy for the development of space science and technology. And now to business reports. World Bank say 3 million poor and vulnerable households have benefited from the $800 million palliatives loan disbursed by the World Bank to cushion the effect of recent government policies, including the fuel subsidy removal. Of these beneficiaries, 700,000 households were from the rural areas and about 2.5 million households were from urban areas, while the World Bank, in its restructuring papers on how to boost its economic safety net programs amidst rising inflation and economic challenges, said the federal government submitted a request to extend the period of the closing date by 18 months from June 30, 2024 to December 31, 2025. According to the document obtained, the extension seeks to realign project timeline and enhance the efficiency of the National Social Safety Net Program scale up, adding that 1,652 urban wards has been covered through the targeting system developed under the project. It also said a planned digital payment delivery mechanism has been put in place using strategic proceeding to deliver transfer directly to beneficiaries' accounts or wallets, while the National Social Register is to be integrated with the national identification numbers to further strengthen the targeting system. The NASSPU U.S. project initiated to provide shock-responsive safety net support to Nigerians poor and vulnerables was approved on December 16, 2021 and became effective on January 30, 2023, while the federal government plans to return a monthly cash transfer programs for poor and vulnerable Nigerians who have been hit hardly by recent policies such as fuel subsidy removal. Federal government says it has concluded plans to convert Zaria hotels in Kaduna State to classrooms and hostels for the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria. Aviation Minister Festus Kayamo, who disclosed this in Zaria said the Zaria hotels has been acquired as an ex nature to the NCAS to widen its growth potential. Kayamo said Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria, remained the best institution for the aviation industry in Nigeria and West Africa. In his remark, acting rector of Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria, Joseph Imeligwe, commended the minister for the visit and support for the college. Still ahead, international tidbits. A bold and new generation of young Kenyan protesters has emerged on the streets, forcing the government to back down on some of the slew of popular tax proposals. The government of President William Ruto has managed to do what generations of politicians in the East African nation have failed to do, which is to unite huge members of Kenyans beyond ethnicity and party. Hundreds of trainers wearing protesters who feel Kenyans are already overtaxed with little to show for it brave tear gas lobbed by police to march through the capital, Nairobi, bringing the city center business district to a standstill. Armed with their smartphone, they live stream the intense confrontation with officers, and the protests dubbed occupying parliament were so ordained and mobilized on social media in a contrast to those led and sponsored by politicians. The youthful demonstrators, popularly referred to as Gen Zs, in reference to the term generally used to describe those born during the late 90s and early period of 2000, has shown up in huge numbers, vowing to ensure that their discontent did not end with just a hashtag or meme. Canada has listed Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as the terrorist organization after years of pressure from opposition legislators and some members of the Iranian diaspora. Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc called it a significant tool in fighting global terrorism. The move will mean that thousands of senior Iranian government officials, including top IRGC officials, will be barred from entering Canada, while Iran's official minister spokesperson condemned what he described as the unwise and unconventional step. He said the IRGC is a major military political and economic force in Iran with close ties to the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, estimated to have more than 190,000 active personnel with its own guard forces, Navy and Air Forces that oversees Iran's strategic weapons. The Canadian government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, had previously declined to extend the terrorism delegation to the IRGC, despite pressure from some desperate members, including the families of those who died after fighting. PS-752 was shot down by the IRGC in January 2020 in Tehran. And now to sports. France captain Kylian Mbappe has returned to light training with the baggage covering his broken nose. Mbappe suffered an injury during their Euro 2024 opening game against Australia, but the Real Madrid-bound players underwent more tests on the nose injury, and Mbappe showed up for the latest afternoon practice section 30 minutes after his teammates came out. The 25-year-old was initially seen running with the ball alone with a trainer and later speaking to France coach Deschamps before taking part in a shooting drills with other players. Super Falcon wingers Rashidat Ajibade is now Atletico Mildred Farman's player of the season. It's the first time the Nigerian will be winning the individual's accolade. The 24-year-old enjoyed a remarkable campaign for the red and white and registered 10 goals and 8 assists for the Atletico Madrid during the 2023-2024 section. The former FC Robo player scored the decisive goals on the final day of the season against Villarreal, which secured UEFA Women's Champions League qualification for Atletico. She is expected to feature for Nigerian at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. 2 players will retire from Real Madrid this week, according to the football transfer expert Fabrizio Romano. They are Rafa Marin and Alex Gimezi. Marin was signed for Napoli on the permanent deal what? Why the La Riga side will receive 5 million euros. Real Madrid will receive over 10 million euro for Rafa Marin to join Napoli on the permanent deal, and 5 million euros from AC Milan for Alex Gemeze. And now to entertainment news. Super Eagles goalkeeper Maduka Okoye says between two of Nigeria's music star, Davido is popular than Burna Boy. Okoye confessed that while Burna Boy is an exceptional musician, he resonates more with Davido's vibes, adding that his playlist is filled with more of Davido's tracks than Burna Boy, and he can't get enough of a superstar energetic beat. Canadian hip-hop star Drake has history by becoming the first artist to reach a staggering 100 billion streams on Spotify. This monumental achievement was declared by chart data Drake hit